Evolutionary or podcast coming your way, guys. Stevesmi here and Rick. What up, man?
Hey, what's up, Steve? What's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there?
All right, guys, this is number 311. We're doing a Q&A. We're back to our regular Q&A episodes. We have 6 awesome topics. They're going to be a lot of fun. The first one is one that we have to deal with a lot, those of us who are heterosexual, dating a female. She'll come to us and be like, hey, I want to use something. I want to use some type of PED. I want to use steroids. I want to use this GW stuff. We all get this question, and then we get the, I want to go to the gym with you. I want to work out with you. It's like, oh, damn. I don't want you to work out with me, but you can't say that to her. So she ends up going to the gym with you, and she can only bench like the bar. You know what I'm saying? And then she's like, I want to get stronger. And you're sitting there putting 3 plates on the fucking bench, on the freaking bench. It's like, then you got to unrack it, and then she's got to do a bar, and you put like a 2.5 pound weight on each side. So she wants to do steroids with you because that's what women do. They want to be like you. So what do you do? Do you accept it or not? So in my experience, I'll answer this first, and I'll get Rick in on this. I've always talked my girlfriends out of it. I've always said, you know what, steroids, they're really for like another level. They should be for men. They should be for people who are at a certain level. Look, I'm monetizing this. I make a living, partial living, in this type of industry. So yes, I'll do it myself. But you're just a regular person. And I always want to talk them out of it. I explain to them the side effects. The only time, though, I did give a PED to a couple girls. One girl, LGD. I hooked her up with some LGD. She took 5 milligrams a day. She really liked it. She really got good results from it. And then there was another girl, I hooked her up with some GW, like for a month or 2. She really liked it as well. So in that situation, probably your best bet is to get them more involved in SARMs. Much safer, much more mild. Not, steer them toward steroids. Because steroids are risky for women. Even the most mild steroid, Anavar, which a lot of women take, or oral primobolan or something. Those 2 are probably the only 2 steroids I would ever recommend to a female. But even then, those are kind of risky. If let's say you get it for them and it's not Anavar or it's not oral primobolan, it's something else, they could get some major side effects from it if they're accidentally taking something else. So to me, I prefer to steer them away. But if a woman is at a certain level where like she wants to compete, she's been an athlete her whole life, I would want to get her on legit Anavar, maybe 5-10 milligrams a day to start, or some oral primobolan, light dose, and then see how she does on that. So that's the kind of direction I would take her to. And of course, SARMs are always an option. How about you, Rick? Have you been in this situation?
Bunch of times. I've dated both female fitness competitors that they have their own plug. They get me stuff sometimes. And they really they're about the gym. They know what they're doing. They're already working with a coach. And the fact that they're already working with a coach takes some pressure off of me to have to sit there and give a free consult all the time. And I've dated females that are just maybe naturally beautiful, but don't really work out or are very casual, little once in a while cardio bunnies. They just come in, use the treadmill, do a little bit of machine, and then go home a couple times a week. It depends what level she's at, right? The last girl that I was going out with, her coach put her on a pretty heavy cycle, which I felt was unnecessary for her level. I felt like maybe the coach was trying to unload some gear on her and probably gave her more stuff than she kind of needed. So I had her drop dosages down and had her switch stuff out. And she got just great results and spending less money and less side effects. So I've had to do everything when it comes to females from beginning to end. Really, when it comes to steroids, it depends the level the girl's at. And And now when you get a beginner, like a real beginner girl that she's just starting, that again, like I said, she's fit curious, you wanna see if she can adopt some of the lifestyles. For example, no more sugar waters, right? No more, and if you could get her away from breads and white flours and stuff like that, then you got something going. If she won't adjust her diet, but she'll at least come in and do a little bit of cardio on the machine, and then just have her do the machine circuit, up and down the machine circuit, and you go on your side of the gym and do your thing. You want to build a fun workout for her. Again, just treadmill a little bit every day, have her do a different cardio machine, and then just set her loose on the circuit. You know, those machines, if you're in a decent gym, they're set up in a certain order. So just have her do the circuit of the leg machines. You know, depending on her level, just give her a rep count and sets, and just leave her alone, and then go do your free weights. And as far as steroids and having them take anything, look, even if I'm going out with her, I stick to what I say. I don't think any person should be taking anabolic steroids or really anything that level unless you've had 5 years of natural training. So if she's really wanting to take something, and I see she's consistent at the gym, she stopped drinking sugar water, she stopped eating so much damn bread, and she's staying consistent with me at the gym, I'll let her do a Entuslin and Bridge cycle. Entuslin and Bridge, those two products right from my store. And with an Entu Bridge and Slim cycle, a girl doing her first thing, a girl's never done steroids before, mind you, can see about the same results she would see on about 5, maybe 10 mgs of bar per day. And yes, between those two products, you're taking about 6 capsules a day. It's about 2,000 milligrams of combined over a dozen ingredients. And yeah, you need that much natural ingredients to get the same results that you get from 5 to 10 milligrams of Anabar every day. But it's a natural product. It's not hurting her liver. And it's still working within the realm of just boosting and enhancing what her body can do. It's not just adding synthetic to her body. So Entuslin and Bridge, that's the perfect stack for any girl out there that just wants to get some really, really, really better than natural results, but maybe not ready to take the leap onto taking steroids yet. That's what I would do. If I got with a girl that's pretty new to fitness, and she showed me she was dedicated and she was willing to make the lifestyle changes, I'd hook her up with some of my supplements and get her going like that. I definitely would not give her steroids or anything like that unless she was already killing it, like unless she's made great progress, unless she's doing something really major. But just as a point of reference, I don't think I've never introduced a girl to steroids that I can remember. I don't think I've either dated women that were already doing steroids and had a coach that was consulting them and they had their own hookup, or women that were just very, very casual with fitness and maybe I helped them out with some supplements. But I don't think I ever took a girl from being natty to the dark side ever. They were on either side when I started dating them and remained on either side when we left. So that's that.
All right, guys. So the next question is biggest scam supplements out there. And Rick, you've been in the supplement industry a very long time, and you've seen a lot of bullshit out there. We're seeing a lot of crap right now going on with these remedies for the virus, for superbugs and all this stuff. Guys, like on social media, they're pushing some products and stuff. So talk a little bit about that, and then talk a little bit about some of the other scam supplements that you see out there from different companies that that are most common that guys need to watch out for.
Okay, so I saw this question on our list for today, and I had this whole wrap I was going to get into, but then I remembered real quickly that our listeners, the guys that are listening to this podcast, these are the guys that do their research. These are the guys that Google the shit out of stuff. These are the guys that even go and look at the abstract on some of these studies. So maybe I don't need to warn you guys so much about supplement scams, because if you're listening to this podcast, if you're shopping from me, then you're definitely a research-oriented customer. You're not being seduced by a top-level pro competitor on a ton of juice telling you he got this way using X or Y brand. I don't hire those guys. Those guys use my products for sure, but we just don't have a contract for them to go around telling people about it. So if you're listening to this, you probably don't need all this help. I will tell you this: help your friends out, help me out, make sure people know about Need to Build Muscle, make sure people understand the mission. I don't sell anybody products that would give them steroid-like results. I don't claim that on any of my products. My stuff is for guys that are already on steroids. You're already doing something. You're already a lifer in the gym, and you really need products that are there to help you support your steroid use, your lifestyle goals, what you're already doing. And that's kind of been my niche. This is why I don't do mainstream stuff. I've always stayed in the steroid corners, the steroid forums. And that's how guys find my brand, and that's how guys find us. So yeah, I switched up my answer because I realized I was going to sit here and tell you guys about protein spiking with the collagen and all these things that most of you guys already know about. If you're shopping from me, you've already gone beyond and past a lot of the bullshit marketing that is out there, and you're investing into good, strong products that have real science behind them and have real results and a good track record behind them of years and years and years of guys taking these formulas and them working just perfectly with their cycles. The reason why my formulas have stayed pretty well the same for years, while you see other brands coming out with something new every day, it's because my stuff, once we got a formula that worked, it just kept on working. Same thing like with steroids, Anavar, Anadrol, Dianabol, all this stuff's been around since the 60s. We're just now getting some new stuff the last, 10, 15 years, SARMs and stuff. But most of these hormones, they've been around since the 60s. Why are they still being used even more than the new stuff? Because they just plain worked. So my formulas, when we brought them out, they just plain worked. So yeah, guys, help me out. Help me spread the word. I'm not a big marketing dude. I'm not paying a bunch of influencers and people to fake say they use my stuff. My brand grows by word of mouth, by guys telling their friends, guys telling each other, guys helping their natural friends. A lot of my customers that are on steroids, they have buddies that train and that even come out to the gym with them sometimes that are natural. And they'll give those guys N2 they'll give them Bridge, they'll give them N2 and these products make a big difference for these natural guys that haven't touched anything. These strong products really make a huge difference for them. So help us out there too. So I guess that's it. Biggest scam and supplements to watch out for. Keep your friends from getting scammed by these other companies that have a new formula every 3 months, and bring them over to my side, the true tried and tested formulas that stood the test of time, and that really serious guys taking serious compounds rely on.
Yeah, so really a couple things I want to point out. If you look at the ingredients, let's say a protein powder, you look at the ingredients, what's in it, and then you see a bunch of stuff in there you can't even pronounce. You see like a bunch of chemicals that are in there. You see hydrogenated oils. You see high fructose corn syrup. You see all this shit. And you see the guy pushing it. He's like this big bodybuilder with his bulging muscles with like an 8-pack and stuff. Do you really think that he got that way from taking that crap? Of course not. And that to me is a scam, because you're basically making people think that if you drink this basically ice cream, because that's essentially what it is, it's basically ice cream that you're consuming and with this protein powder. Just look at what's in it, like cookies and cream, and it tastes like fucking ice cream. And these people actually think if they consume it that they're going to look like that. That to me, that's a scam. And the truth is, you consume that, you're going to have a big belly and you're going to have baloney tits. Okay. So that to me is a scam. Also, if you go on Instagram, look at some of these guys on social media and you see their supplement stores, and they have a bunch of reps that are a bunch of shills for them. and they're all guys. They drive around in Lamborghinis. They got pictures of themselves in Lamborghinis. They got pictures of themselves with like 3, 4 women around them. They got their arms around them. And then you look at the history of these supplement owners. They like have histories of like going to prison and going to jail and fraud and scams. Obviously, that's a red flag. You probably shouldn't be buying their products. Why do you have to like do all that and make people think that you drive a Lamborghini, make people think that you have all these women around you if you have a good product? You don't. Why do you have to hire reps that are like on like 3 grams of steroids a week and have like top 1% genetics and make people believe that if they take your products, you're going to look like that too? Why would you have to do that if you have a good product? So to me, it's kind of like overdoing the marketing and having to just be out there that much. You know, here's an interesting thing that I've kind of figured out as I've gotten older. You ever watch cartoons with your kids or your nieces and nephews or whatever, and you see the commercials for during these cartoons? It's all cereal, it's all fast food, it's all McDonald's selling Happy Meals and all this stuff. All that's a scam because they're targeting young people. They want young people to watch their cartoons, then they watch the commercials during the cartoons, and then they ask their parents, "Hey, take me to McDonald's because I want a Happy Meal. Take me to, you know, get me this candy bar that I saw, or get me this toy that I saw." It's just marketing, and it's micro targeting, you know, a certain demographic. So we see the same thing in the supplement industry. They micro target the young, naive guy. So most of you listening don't fit that at all, but you may have, you know, a son who's in high school, going to college. He's starting to get into bodybuilding. You want to definitely talk to him about this. You know, definitely want to read ingredients of these products because it's there for a reason. There's people who have sued and lost their life savings to make these companies put ingredients on these products. So please take advantage of that, you know, and don't just look at the label, whatever the label says with the macros, how much sugar it has, whatever. You got to look at what's in it. You don't want to put some of this crap in your body. So, I mean, that's my rant on it. And you really have to do a good job of educating people. Pretty much, I mean, if you walk into any supplement store, 95% of the supplements there are shit. So you really have to stick to a good quality supplement company. That's why I like N2BM. That's why, you know, I've been repping with them for 12 years, over 12 years now. Because of their high quality products. I was a customer long before I ever started repping for them. And, you know, it's high quality products, and they have the ingredients on there right there in black and white for you. They don't BS with you. Their protein powder from N2BM, it's 6 ingredients. It's all quality. You don't see high fructose corn syrup. You don't see hydrogenated oils. So, I mean, this is a company that knows what they're doing, and they're producing products that are healthy and that are legit. And that's all you want to look for in a supplement company.
Yeah, guys. The marketing, I think you're going to be able to tell. You're going to be able to tell what supplement companies are worth it or not just on their on their marketing alone. Look, I've had conversations with a couple of professional guys here and there about doing some kind of marketing. And what it comes down to is this: I'm not going to pay somebody who's on steroids to deny that they're on steroids and then hold up one of my bottles and say, I got this big using this. And that's what there's a lot of out there. I'm looking for a competitive guy, good top level. If you're out there, hit me up, who's willing to talk about their steroid cycle, who's willing to talk about their dosages, their PCT, their steroid use, and really to explain to people how my products fit into the protocol. So instead of denying you're on steroids, holding up my bottle and saying, hey, I got this big using this, how about you tell people you're on steroids? We show them your blood results, your blood work on these orals and on N2Guard. We show them the blood work after your post-psychotherapy with HC Generate, and we actually show people the results of it that way. And it's kind of hard because once these guys get above a certain level of popularity, it's a known fact nowadays that they're all on steroids, but they won't really get real specific as to their dosage, as to what they do, as to their PCT, as to how they feel and stuff. It's not until you get an interview with a guy that's been retired and he might be willing to share some stuff. But for the most part, guys that are still shopping around for sponsors and still trying to, make money being a face for brands, they won't discuss it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I think I'd be betraying my customer base. And if I ever try to flip my marketing around, or if I ever gave into doing something like that. So definitely, guys, watch that marketing, and make sure you don't fall in for some of the bullshit.
Yeah, and just something that kind of funny. Like, you ever see like these supplement owners driving Lamborghinis and stuff? That tells me they're scamming you. Because why do they have fucking a Lamborghini? The supplement industry is so fucking competitive.
All that shit is leased. All that stuff. There's so many people living on credit. Look, the supplement industry is not that lucrative. There's some big guys that are huge, and they turn a lot of money around, a lot of volume around, but they're also, a couple of months of bad sales from being in the red. So a lot of it, unfortunately, like Instagram is bullshit. A lot of it is rented. Anybody can go rent a Lambo and put pictures up of it. And there are also guys that are drug dealers that got into the game. But look, I can tell you firsthand from somebody that stays out of trouble and that does everything by the book, there's not that much money in the supplement industry. You get to do something you really enjoy every day. You get to help people, and you get to really feel like you're helping guys out, because everybody's really appreciative when you give them advice, when they get a product that makes them feel better, that makes everything. It's very rewarding. Honda Civic, 93 Civic, and I have a Toyota Matrix. They don't make them anymore. That's
the piece of junk.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, but that shows you. Yeah, that shows you. You're.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like buying stuff I can't afford. I don't like buying stuff that's just for flash. And I don't need a car to get women. I get women just fine with whatever I drive. It's fine. So I don't really invest into that kind of stuff. And I hate paying interest. So I try not to get anything on credit. And that's it, buddy. Nike's my favorite clothing brand. That's it, bro. I wear Fossil watches, and I drive Toyotas or Hondas, more than 10 years old usually, but I like them to be, nice little wheels on them, nice stuff on them. But that's it, dude. I don't like that, bro. And I think a lot of guys get flashy because they're like insecure, or there's no maybe substance to their personality. So obviously a really good automobile will attract women. Well, at least get you a number. But at the end of the day, you got into the debt for the car, so you're paying interest on that money, and then the car is devaluing. I guess if you really, really like cars and you enjoy driving a damn thing, I think it maybe is worth it. But if you're just trying to show off and be flashy, and you're paying interest on a debt on an item that's devaluing, probably not the best way to go about things. So yeah, a lot of these supplement guys, bro, a ton of debt on their companies. Equipment is owed to the bank. A lot of raw materials and materials are owed to suppliers. They're running, they're churning around a ton of money for not a huge margin. I mean, look, and a lot of them aren't doing it right. A lot of them are a couple of months or a fine away from going out of business, and that's reality. A lot of it is Instagram BS to be real.
All right, guys. So this goes to the next one: hiring a diet coach, worth it. So I look at this as two different ways. Let's say you're competing, and I really think it's a good idea to hire a coach, not just for your diet, but also a coach to show you what to do, in the competition, help you with even little things like posing or the music, or et cetera, et cetera. But let's say you're a normal Joe, okay, and you want to hire a diet coach. So one of the quickest ways to know, is this diet coach legit, is how much should they charge you? A diet coach, when you first get hired, there's some diet coaches out there, and we know this, okay? And if you don't know this, then pay really, really close attention to what I'm telling you. But what they'll do is they'll charge you $300-$400 for a diet plan. And then they'll basically, it's just a copy paste diet plan that they give to everybody. And there are these guys, you know, again, social media, they have a lot of followers, they offer coaching, and you hire them and, you know, they get 1,000 emails a month. Okay. They don't have time to sit there and go through each email and write you out a specific plan. So what they'll do is they'll copy paste. It's usually the same thing. They'll basically copy paste something like chicken, brown rice, and broccoli as your meal. And they'll say, eat 5-6 meals a day, this many calories a day, macros 40-40-20. It's the same shit. It's all copy paste. Copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. And then they'll charge $300-$400. And, you know, they'll get busted for it. And they'll, you know, some people will bust them. They'll post it online, whatever. And they'll keep doing it anyway because there's much more suckers out there. So, again, it goes back to right off the bat. If you're going to pay $300-$400 for a diet coach, right off the bat, that's a scam in my mind. Diet coach should not be charging you that much. A diet coach should be charging you way less than that. But more importantly, they should be talking to you first and getting to know you. You should be able to talk to them. You should be able to have a conversation with them, not just by email. Because what we've found with these guys is they'll email you or you'll email them and you're not talking to them. You're talking to an assistant who's getting paid like $20,000 a year or something. Just some intern out of college or something that they hire. And we see this all the time. And whatever his name is, Zimmerman or something a few years ago, he got busted for doing that. He made like $1 million in a year coaching people. But all along, he hired his girl and paid her like $50,000 for that year to email back and forth. And she didn't know anything about nutrition. She doesn't know anything about fitness, but she's just copy pasting the same stuff over and over. You know, so that's what you got to look for, guys. Another thing, if they want you to count your calories and count your macros and use online calculators, that to me shows that they're lazy, that they're not willing to sit with you. You shouldn't have to do all that. You shouldn't have to just tell them what I eat and they input it in a calculator and be like, okay, you're going to eat 200 calories less than your maintenance, which is 3,000 calories, and treat you like a robot. You're not fixing a computer here. We have to figure out how much gigahertz and how much RAM goes into the computer. You're not fixing a car. We have to figure out what type of tires go on the car and all this. This is a human body. So really, right off the bat, guys, a good diet coach, you're going to talk to them either through Skype or whatever, Wicker or WhatsApp or whatever, and you're going to talk to them and they're going to get to know you. And they're going to put together an original diet plan for you. They're going to work with you. Not just, here, it's $400, send it to me, okay, boom, and then I'm going to send you back a diet plan and I'm done with you. That to me, that's a big scam. So I do provide diet coaching, and my rates are way less than that, but you're actually going to talk to me, just like you're hearing me right now. I'm actually going to talk to you, get to know you, and put you on a diet plan. So SteveSmi on the forum if you want to get in touch with me. But I'm not going to just email you a diet plan under any circumstance without talking to you first and talking to you. So Rick, what do you think about diet coaches out there?
It depends who you are. For some people, it makes sense. For other people, it doesn't. Who does it make sense for? Obviously, if you're a top level guy and your coach is taking you on stage, helping you win some shit, you obviously want to invest in a good coach. But then that guy is not just going to help you with your diet. He's going to help you with your steroid cycle. He's going to help you with your days coming up to competition. Shit, he should probably be at the show with you the day of competition, giving you pointers in between sessions. So, yes, I mean, he should be there spray tanning you. So those guys, yeah, absolutely. Second style of guy, if you're not competing, but you're professional, your time is worth money, and you don't have the time to sort through all this information. You listen to the podcast, you read the forums, you have some idea, but you don't have it all together, then yeah, don't spend any more time trying to learn something that Steve has already learned a ton of. Just hire someone. Hire Steve. Find someone that you like, that you've been following, whatever it is, and get some help. Hit me up, whatever. Get some help. If you are not like top level professional, young guy, maybe you're in between jobs, you have time, then yeah, man, crunch on this information, munch on everything, make sure you understand the way your body works fully. Listen to this podcast, then take everything we say and go Google it, go verify it. If you have some questions, hit us up. We'll follow up. Study it. If you have the time and maybe you don't have the funds to throw around, study it, do it yourself. Maybe not worth it for you. If you don't have the time, but you have the funds, if you don't have time, you should have some good work that you're doing, right? Pay for a pro. Tell them all about your case. Make sure they know, they keep up with you. They'll keep you accountable. Make sure you pay for a good program where you're following up at least once a week to keep you accountable. Fill in. I mean, really just get the help. Get the help and don't spend any more time trying to sort through the information. Just have someone you trust, put it all together for you. So that's my thing on coaches. It works depending on who you are and what your needs are, right? And you just have to, be conscious of that. Also, maybe you don't have all the funds. Maybe you do have the time, but you don't know where to get started. Get someone who let you do one or 2 hour consultation with them on the phone. Pay them for that one consultation. Have all your questions ready, written out. Get all your questions answered, and then get set on the right road, and then go start doing it, and then research the rest of the way, and then you may never have to pay again. You just get someone to set you on the right path, set you on the right track, so you get going now, and then you continue to do your research and make adjustments down the line and never pay again. There you have a bunch of different options as to the best way to go.
All right, guys. So next one is, why am I getting stress and anxiety on tren? So this is a really good one. And there's a lot of reasons why we get stress, anxiety, and then insomnia, which is a byproduct of those on tren. So, let's talk about off a tren. Now, if it's a situation where you already have these issues and you go on tren, then the issues are going to get worse. That I can guarantee you. I actually had a client who said, yeah, I have trouble sleeping. I only sleep 3-4 hours a night. Should I use tren? I told him absolutely not. Because if you already have trouble sleeping and you take tren, you're going to have even worse time sleeping. So some of the, basics behind tren, and then I'm going to talk about, and I know Rick has a lot of helpful tips about anxiety. Tren is extremely inflammatory in the body. So when you take tren, you're putting the tren in your body. Okay, it's got PGF2A. PGF2A is an inflammatory prostaglandin in the body. So when you increase inflammation in the body, then the tren, by doing that, is going to increase nervousness, anxiety in the body. Now you can compound the issue, and I've talked to people about this over the years, and they've come back to me and said, Steve, you're absolutely right. It's stimulants. If you mix stimulants with an inflammatory steroid like tren, or any steroid abuse, all steroids do cause inflammation, by the way, most all of them. Now, if you abuse them, it's a lot worse. But if you're taking stimulants along with it, what ends up happening is not only your GABA gets suppressed, so that causes anxiety. If you have low GABA, you're going to have anxiety. You're not going to be able to sleep. But also, what ends up happening is you're basically causing more stress in the body. And that kind of compounds, because if you're not sleeping well at night, the stress is going to get worse. The anxiety is going to get worse. Having a sound sleep is the best way to reduce anxiety and stress. And what do people have in common who all have stress and anxiety? Is they have trouble sleeping. So it's basically a domino effect of disaster where you're not able to sleep. I was having a lot of anxiety a few months ago. And I swear I went on vacation, which I haven't taken a vacation in a long time. I took a little vacation just for like 4 or 5 days. And I came back and my stress was so much better just from taking a break. So what I recommend, if you've got existing anxiety and stress, you want to take a look at a few things. Number one, you want to take a look at your lifestyle. You leave a stressful lifestyle. A lot of us absorb a lot of stress. Okay. I'm one of those people. I've always been one of those people. I can remember in school, I'd have a test coming up and I'll take the test, and afterwards I'd be so stressed waiting for the results of that test because I was so freaking scared, that if I got a bad grade on the test, then it would affect my grade in the class. It would drop my GPA. I'd lose my scholarship, et cetera, et cetera. So I was bringing that stress onto myself, very, very stressful. And now as an adult, same thing, very, very stressed out. I've got no patience. I'm a very stressed person. Some of us are just naturally stressed. So how do you offset that stress? We do it by exercising. We do it with yoga. We do it with relaxation. We do it with all kinds of ways that we do with our lifestyle. We reduce the amount of food that we eat. We put food in our body. It's inflammatory. So fasting really, really helps. It helps kind of put you in the Zen mode if you ever get anxiety. And a lot of us were type A personality, so that anxiety just keeps coming and coming and coming. And that's how I am. So I've been able to kind of defeat the stress as I've gotten older just by using these kinds of tips that I'm giving you guys, like exercising, like doing yoga, fasting, not abusing steroids, just leading a healthy lifestyle, staying away from the alcohol, staying away from drugs, staying away from people who cause stress in my life, negative people. All kinds of things like that can all help with this. So the bottom line is, if you're experiencing this right now on tren or on any steroid, come off the steroid and reevaluate your lifestyle. It'll make a huge, huge difference. And then you can go back to using these steroids and not have these issues. A lot of us too out there, a lot of you listening out there, I used to be like this. And I think Rick was the same way. You have trouble absorbing your minerals and your vitamins. And when that happens, that can cause anxiety because you're not absorbing what you need to from your foods. So that goes to the gut. You got to fix your gut health. And how do we fix our gut health? Fasting will fix your gut health. Do a 3, 4, 5 day fast every month or two. That will do really, really good for your gut health. Stay away from inflammatory foods. Stick with low FODMAP, FODMAP foods. Stay away from things like garlic, like onions that are very, very high FODMAP that are going to cause stomach upset and gut issues. Think about maybe taking a good probiotic that can help balance your gut. These are all really, really good, helpful things because a lot of times it can start in the gut, having these anxiety issues. And if you're on anxiety medication, you have to set a goal to wean off of that and fix the root cause of the anxiety instead of just being on medication the rest of your life. So Rick, I'm going to bring you in on this. I know you have had a history of this as well. What has helped you?
Yeah, buddy. I suffered with anxiety for quite a long time, actually, from about 14, 15, all the way until my early 30s. In my case, it was completely based on my digestion. I think at some point before age of 14, 15, there were a couple big rounds of antibiotics that I got because I got sick. And I think they really messed up my gut flora for like a long time. We came to the States when I was about 10, and I'd never had the flu before I was 10. The flu doesn't really get around in South America much. It's pretty warm. Very rare to get it. So I didn't start getting the flu until like 11, 12. And the first couple of times that I got it, I had some pretty severe ear infections and really had to get on a lot of antibiotics. And I think at some point they messed up my my gut flora, threw it off balance. And around 15, 16, I started getting anxiety. And it just started to feel like a feeling like I left the iron plugged in or like I left the stove on when I left. And I kept thinking that, hey, I'm just feeling this because there's homework I have to do or something I've got to do. And I thought it was just my brain trying to remind me of something I had to get done. And then over the years, it just started to it just started to morph into, oh, this monetary problem and that thing. And it was just a constant state of anxiety. It wasn't until my really early 30s that I went to visit a good friend, and he takes probiotics, digestive enzymes, and fiber with every single meal of the day. And since I was at his house, I adopted I started doing what he was doing. And about 3 days into it, I woke up and I was happy as hell, happy as happy can be, or so I thought. I still had all the same challenges that I had before. I just didn't feel anxious about them. And what it was is I'd been anxious. I had anxiety because of bad gut flora for 15 years. And after about 3 days, 4 days of taking like a good amount of antibiotics, different strains, I started to feel a difference. And since then, I've taken a lot of probiotics, different brands, different types. And I think I've got my gut flora down pretty good now. But in my personal case, my anxiety just came from actually really bad digestion. And look, we have per weight, we have about as many neurons in your gut as you do in your brain. And so this is a really good reason why you will have some anxiety if your gut flora is not well balanced. And then, towards the end, before it got cured for me finally, it got to the point where if I was worried about something, it would make me go to the bathroom right away. And also, if I had to really go to the bathroom, my anxiety would kick up. So it towards the very end, before probiotics, digestive enzymes, and fiber helped me. I mean, my mood was connected to my going to the bathroom, and I just got used to living like that. And I was taking steroids, training, going to the gym. I was just living regular life, or as best as I could, with just anxiety every day. And when it finally got cured, I mean, it changed my life really. But yeah, I mean, one thing to think about, guys, anxiety, if you get a lot of it, could be your gut, could be your digestion. Probiotics will get you a long way.
All right, guys. So next topic, guys, is no motivation on PCT, sex drive down, can't work out. I actually went through this. I think it was my first or second cycle. I got some really bad PCT advice. I was taking advice back in those days from friends. And, friends aren't really the best place to get advice on this stuff because friends really don't know what they're talking about either. So what ends up happening is you listen to them on something and they steer you in the wrong direction, not on purpose, but it's just that they don't understand what they're talking about. So I started doing a little more research. I figured it out. What's happening was, guys, a big mistake guys are doing PCT is they run Clomid and Nolvadex too high. And when you run Nolvadex and Clomid too high, this is what they're doing. They're SERMs, they're selective estrogen receptor modulators. So what they'll do is they block estrogen from feedbacking back into the pituitary glands. These are off-label uses. We use them in PCT to help us get a soft landing. We use them to kind of force the pituitary glands to wake up because they've been dormant and start spitting out hormones so that we get our Leydig cells pumping again, we get testosterone levels up without causing estrogen levels to shoot up. So that's what SERMs do, and they do that very well. So my recommendation, guys, is have or quarter the dosage recommendations you see out there. I've seen some crazy dosage. I saw you still see some guys push 100, 200, 300 milligram Clomid a day. And if you do that, you're going to get these really, really bad side effects. I mean, you're going to feel like, so unmotivated. You're just going to feel weepy and cry about it. And you read on the forums, especially from 5, 10, 15 years ago, guys kind of give each other, they kind of needle each other and they kind of say, oh, you must be on Clomid. What are you whining about? You must be on Clomid. Because that's what Clomid do. Clomid makes you like a whiny woman, makes you like a whiny kid. It shouldn't be like that in PCT. The purpose of PCT is to give you a soft landing, not to make you feel like crap. So there's really no excuse for this. So what I always tell guys, run your serums way lower. Clomid, 12.5, 25 milligram every other day. That's it. Nolvadex, instead of running it 40 or 60 or 80 milligrams a day, run it 10 or 20 milligrams a day at the most, or every other day even. They have long half-lives, 4 or 5 day half-lives. So it's really not necessary to be just throwing tons of drugs at your body during PCT. You're not going to force your body to restart or start producing hormones. That's not the way it works. Your body will gradually come back. But if you just throw a bunch of drugs at it, you're not going to speed up the process. You're actually going to make yourself feel like crap in the process. Another thing, what you need to do is anytime you run a SERM, you need to run an extremely potent and strong natural testosterone booster. Natural is the key. Because if you run something like HCG that's suppressive, you're actually going to be delaying recovery. You might feel better, but you're going to delay recovery. So you need to run a natural, strong testosterone booster. I recommend Into Generate ES. And if your budget is an issue, you can run the Into Generate Classic during the post-cycle therapy, along with those SERMs. And you'll feel fine. You'll feel great. You're not going to feel that crash. You're not going to feel weepy. You're not going to feel unmotivated. So really, that's what I recommend. Rick, did you go through this as well with
Yeah,
PCT?
buddy. Absolutely. Spoken about it in different podcasts. The main reason why guys take Into Generate, HC Generate on top of their PCT medications is because it helps in the mood quite a bit. It helps keep them stay motivated and stay pumped up to keep hitting the gym, even through and after PCT. It just makes the whole post-cycle therapy experience just much nicer. And you feel much better. I mean, your libido's up, get hard on. I mean, you almost feel like you're still in the sauce, but you're recovering. And this is the main reason why N2 Generate, HC Generate has had a place with steroid users. Even though our guys, my customers, have access to pharmaceuticals and they do use them. They do use Clomid and HCG and Novadex with N2 Generate because it makes a huge difference in just that department, the mood enhancement. And I've said it a bunch of times, guys, that's how the product started. It really started because before I started taking steroids, I used Tribex from Biotest. I found out about them on testosterone.net. Some of the, one of the first steroid websites on the net, and felt great on it. I used steroids later on and then PCT, and that Clomid made me feel like shit. So really early on, I started adding Tribulus to my PCT. And then over time, it built up. I used more herbs than Tribulus, then fenugreek, then Tribulus and Tonkat Elite. And then later on, Fedosia came on the scene. And that really solidified the formula because that helped your testicles grow pretty fast. 3-5 days if you were shrunk. So definitely adding the herbals in with your post-cycle therapy will make your experience just that much nicer. I mean, day after day, you're just going to feel that much better. Once you're taking Clomid for about 2-3 weeks, you're not going to remember that you paid a little extra to get Into Generate, but you're going to know how you feel every single day. By the time you're 2 weeks into using Clomid after your cycle is done, if you're feeling like shit, if you're not feeling well, if you're emotional, if you're overreacting to people, that sucks. So definitely get into HC Generate. It's going to help your mood just a lot better, and you'll recover much more effectively.
All right, guys. So the last one is an interesting one. I'm surprised we haven't talked about this before, Rick, because it's a very important question. So this is a situation where a guy, he's divorcing his wife, and his wife took pictures of his steroids to use against him. He's on self-prescribed TRT, meaning he doesn't have a prescription for it. And he had a bottle of tren from a few years ago. She's using it in a custody battle, and they have court coming up. So, first off, leaving your gear out like that where she can take pictures of it when you're going through a process of divorce, by doing that, you made life very difficult for yourself. Because absolutely, her lawyer is going to take that and he's going to use that, as leverage in the court case. Remember, this isn't a murder case. It's not about, guilty, not guilty. Did this person murder someone? Did they not? It's not a traffic case. Was this person speeding? Was this person not speeding? This is a divorce case. So the way it works is lawyers, they're gonna want to use anything as leverage. So a picture of steroids that you don't have a prescription for is a weapon that they can use just to get leverage against you, even if it's a situation where she didn't prove that it's yours. They don't have to prove it's yours. Just like you could say she cheated on me. They can look that up. They can hire a private investigator to follow her and see her banging another guy. So, I mean, that's how divorces work. It's all about leverage in this situation. So I'm going to bring in Rick early on this. Rick, what were your thoughts when you saw this question on the forums?
Yeah, I responded to this question on the forums. We're actually gonna link to it on the description of this podcast. So if you're listening on iTunes or Google Play, or you'll be able to get the link. If you're on YouTube, I don't think we're allowed to link to it on YouTube. So yeah, I responded to this question already. I mean, rough situation. Steroids have been brought up over and over again in divorce cases. I've had consultation clients that have dealt with this while they're, consulting with me. They're going through divorce. A lot of guys have contacted me after their divorce because they're trying to get in shape because they're back on the grind. And they also, a lot of them want a little bit of dating advice. So this I've actually run across a couple of times before. Look, when you see things getting hairy with her, you have to not be in denial, understand your situation, and start to take care of all these things, man. Get the gear out of the house, get off the steroids, get on some natural herbals. I was just talking about Evolutionary to keep your mood up and keep you feeling good, even while you're off the steroids. And really don't make yourself a target. Don't give any openings. A lot of times she just has to go in there with a good argument that the judge will believe. All this family court stuff, it's just you guys and a judge. There's not 12 people there to weigh in. So you're going to be, if she makes a good enough case and you go in there looking jacked, and maybe you've gotten in trouble before, either got the cops called on you because of her, or you slap somebody around before, some guy or some gal, and you got a record. Yeah, you're gonna have an issue, man. Everything's gonna be used. So get off the steroids, get on something to help your mood, because the crash is gonna be, it's not gonna feel good, especially going through a divorce. Make sure to get a counselor. I tell everybody to get help. I think number one issue in the world is mental health. In our last podcast, we were talking about guys that want to be professional athletes and they want to use steroids. Said probably one of the first things you need before you get a steroid dealer, if you're an amateur athlete, get a sports psychologist. Help you stay focused for the game. So same thing here. Get a real psychologist, a professional that you can talk to, where you can go and talk to them about how you feel, and you're not going to feel judged. And that'll help, and it'll go a long way and help you not feel depressed. Because a lot of guys going through a divorce will feel depressed. If you have to suddenly drop your cycle, you're going to go through a bit of a low. So get help, get a therapist. They're good to talk to.
Yeah, and again, I really think also, you need to hire a good lawyer. You're fighting for custody. Unfortunately, you're going to end up paying your lawyer a lot of money. A good lawyer is going to cost you about $1,000 an hour, and you're going to want about $25,000 up front for a retainer. And you're going to have to pay a portion of her attorney most likely as well, because she's going to be hiring an expensive attorney. So if you go in there with a moron as your attorney, and just because someone has a law degree does not make them intelligent. Believe me, I used to be a landlord, so I've dealt with a lot of attorneys, landlord-tenant disputes. And, having a good lawyer on your side can make a whole lot of difference. I've been on both sides. I've been a tenant dealing with a landlord, and I've been a landlord dealing with a tenant on both sides. And, you really, really need a good attorney in that situation. So what I recommend always is make sure you have a good attorney. And it's kind of sad, Rick, that, this guy, he's doing this because he wants to see his child. He wants custody of his child. And in the process, he's spending all this money and he's depleting his child's college fund. You know, it's kind of sucks.
You know, on podcast episode 299, any of you guys that are out there and you know the situation with your significant other might start to get difficult, listen to the second half of podcast 299. It's called Put Your Divorce on Steroids. I really opened up about my personal life there and explained to you guys how I dealt with divorce at the time. I don't think anybody should get into a two-lawyer divorce. I think you should go to a counselor, a divorce counselor with your wife, just a psychologist, and he'll help you negotiate the terms of the divorce, help you guys draw up a nice thick document that you could then take to one lawyer to help you guys divorce. I would avoid doing a two-lawyer, going to court, fighting over stuff divorce I would avoid it all the way. So just 299, I'll talk a little bit more about it. Listen to that podcast, second half of 299, and you guys will get some good value out of that. If things haven't yet escalated to the point where you're throwing divorce papers around and you want a better way, 299. And when it works out for you and you're able to divorce for pennies on the dollar, hit me up and send me an email and say thank you, or hit me up on the forums or something. Shout me out.
All right, guys. So, yeah, I mean, in this situation, I've met so many, both males and females. I've dated women and that have been divorced. And I know so many guys, including you, Rick, a little bit, that have been broken, you know, from a divorce. So it's one of those things where, you know, sometimes just getting the divorce done and over with and even taking a hit is much better than just drawing out a long divorce and being in a miserable marriage. So you have to like weigh the pros and cons of this. Look, if she's going to use this against you, that's fine. You know, let her take whatever she wants, man. Just fucking, who cares? Just get it over with, get the divorce done. But at the end of the day, you know, you're going to fight for your kid, and your kid, before you know it, he's going to be 18. So he's going to be able to do whatever he wants at 18. So if he's like 11 or 12 years old and you do a 1 or 2 year divorce, I mean, you're fighting all this for custody, and then 4 years from now, he's going to be 18, and he might say, you know what, I'm going to go to school near you, Dad. And you know, I want to come over and stay with you, you know, and then commute to college every day. So, you know, think about that. You know, it boggles the mind the way people, they always want to win. It's all about winning. The win here is what's best for your kid.
Yeah, a lot of people get into unnecessary custody battles over their kids when it's really not necessary. If your kid's 10, 11, 12 years old, 9, hey, they know who you are. They're not going to forget you. And if you don't have a lot of access to them, they'll later on when they're older, they'll know it was because of mom. It's probably not the best idea to sit there and spend a ton of money with a significant other that's trying to hurt your feelings, is trying to make you feel bad. You spend a ton of money arguing over being able to see your kids a lot. Look, when she starts dating again, she's going to want you to take care of the baby or the babies. And then you won't have any problems whatsoever seeing your kids. It's just at the start of the sting of divorce, when she wants to maximally make you feel like shit, then she'll dangle the kids in front of you. But you just give it a year or 2 or 3, man. If she starts dating, she's probably going to want you to hold on to the baby so she can go and do her thing.
She's going to want to go on. She's going to want to take a vacation to Jamaica or something with her new boyfriend.
You've taken women out like that. You've gone out. Look, when your ex-wife's going to go out with a guy like Steve, and she's going to be happy for you to have the kid for a week, and you know during the school year, so she can go away with her boyfriend.
She can go bang me for 4 or 5 days over in Jamaica.
Yeah, absolutely. So you sit there, and at the very start, you spend all this money and all this stuff. When if you just give it a year or 2, she's going to be wanting to unload the babies on you. So look, maybe get into a big, huge custody battle. The baby's like under 10 years old, and you're afraid that not being around them as much is, you're afraid of all these things. But at 10, 11, look, you're only just whatever, stay in their life. He's going to, or she's going to ask to see you. Unless you were a real asshole as a parent, they're going to ask to come see you. They're going to ask their mom to come out and spend time with you. And she's got to go through everything, telling them no. And you really probably shouldn't be spending a ton of money trying to convince a judge to let you spend time with your 10, 12, 11, 13, 14-year-old. You probably shouldn't, because they're already just a few years, not that far away enough from just demanding to see you. Look, you can settle anything now and then probably go back to court with the kid when he's 13, 14. I mean, probably not the best spent of money there. Again, at the very start, they're all trying to go for maximum pain, maximum damage to you because they're upset. Even if they're leaving you for another guy, it's your fault because you're a fucking asshole. So that's why she left you for him. So she still needs to hurt you on the way out. Right? So, just don't do that. And try to do it through a counselor, man. Episode 299, second half of the episode. Put your divorce on steroids. Listen to that guy.
Yeah, and when you draw it out like this, it's like a nonstop thing. You're hiring a lawyer, firing a lawyer. You hire a lawyer, you fire a lawyer. You don't like this lawyer. You don't like the advice he gave you. Reminds me of that joke, Rick, about the guy, taking a trip to Italy. You asked them, what airline you take? Oh, I'm taking Alitalia. Alitalia, it's the worst. It's the worst airline. The flight attendants are rude. Their planes are never on time. Where are you staying? Oh, I'm staying at the Hasner. The Hasner? There's construction at the Hasner. They're banging all night. You'll never sleep. Where are you going to visit? The Vatican. The Vatican? You're going to be it's horrible at the Vatican. You'll be standing in line for hours. It's 100 degrees outside. I'm sorry, am I paying for this joke?
That's a good one. That's a decent one. Listen to that. A little bit of comedy there, guys. Clap it up for Steve. You know what we should do? You know what I'm going to do, bro? On the edit? I'm going to add audience laughter on the edit.
All right, sounds good, yeah.
Every time, I should have like a little audience laughter audio. And every time
the interesting thing,
yeah.
Well, the interesting thing, you can add laughter to this too. The interesting thing is I'm paid per word. So if I just name a joke, I'm actually getting paid to put this joke. So I'm a stand-up comedian as well.
Yeah, there's a guy that sits there and he counts words on the podcast. So Steve can get paid. That's what's his contract. He gets paid by the word. So there's a guy whose job it is to sit there and he just does little lines and just
we have one of those stenographers like in a courtroom. They're like
he counts.
They do
out
closed captioning. They do closed captioning too while we do it.
So, yeah, man. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. But we love questions like this because I like it, Rick, because I never went through. I almost got married when I was really young too. I almost screwed my life up, so it makes me feel good that I didn't make that mistake. And get married.
So, guys, if you want to send me a message, you need help. You want to tell me you hate the podcast. You want to tell me you love the podcast. I'm gonna give you guys an email address where everybody can email me at. It's rickyvrock@gmail.com. So that's just a new email address that I'm going to start putting out there that I'm going to have just for questions, just for anybody that's got questions, comments, really just podcast stuff, bodybuilding stuff. Because I'm trying to keep all of the product orders and everything on my Need to Build Muscle address. So Ricky, RICKYV, rock, ROCK, @gmail.com. Hit me up if you have a question. If it's a good question, we'll put it up on the podcast. If you just have some comments or something, I'll read them out on the podcast. Just let me know what you think. If there's any subjects you'd like to hear about on the podcast, if you have any content requests you'd like to hear us cover on the podcast, just hit me up. I'm also on the forums, evolutionary.org, elitefitness.com, anabolex.com. There is Rick V. no Y there, RICKV. And my pictures on the avatar on my posts. Just come out, post up, talk to us, open dialogue. Anything you guys want, anything you guys need, questions you have, we're here for you. This is what me and Steve do every day.
All right, guys, Evolutionary Order Podcast. We'll have a new episode up very, very soon. Keep in touch. We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.
Have a good one, Steve. Have a good one, guys.
Guys, this is the required legal disclaimer. We are only sharing our experience from years of steroid use. We are not doctors, and none of what we say should be regarded as medical advice. Always check with your doctor before taking any drugs or starting any training program.
The statements in this podcast have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. None of the products discussed in this podcast are intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. You must check with your doctor before taking any supplement or engaging in any kind of training activity.